I'm mapping out what happens when a business outgrows their simple bookkeeping and makes them go from, why do I even need a bookkeeper to, okay, yes, I need your help now. I'm going to draw it visually to like map out what's happening in my brain when people come to me in that moment and what I'm seeing and what I do to help. So, when people first start their business, it's pretty simple. What this typically looks like is you've got one bank account and you've got some expenses coming out of that account. We're going to use this little line. And where's your expenses? We're paying for some software, maybe some processing fees. Yeah, and that's it. Not too much is going on. For how you're getting paid, maybe people are just sending you Zells. So pretty straightforward and simple. Nothing too complicated. You can imagine this in your head. You can keep track of it. Like, my where I got paid was in Zelle. I went to my bank account and then I paid for it out of my expenses. And this bank account is maybe still got some personal stuff in it, but otherwise there's not too much going on. Not too hard to keep track of everything. So, like I said, this is when people feel outsourcing a bookkeeper is unnecessary. And you would be right because you can handle it yourself. But then the business picks up, you start doing more, you start adding things in. So let's say you get another bank account, and now this one is going to be just for the business. You are not mixing your personal. And then you actually add in a credit card. You're like, oh, that would be nice. Let's use some coins, but can't get a business credit card yet. So you just take a personal card that you probably aren't using too much, or you decide to use mostly for the business. Maybe there's still some personal in there still. So now you've got these expenses coming out of this credit card and this new bank account. Oh, and now we've got some more expenses actually. So there's a lot. There's more going on now. So we've got all these expenses going out, and then the way you get paid starts also adding in new avenues. So you've got and then there's the people who are just giving you cash, and also you start using Stripe or maybe Square. You start trying out different ways to get paid. A little bit of it came from Stripe and Square. Then you're like, no, you know what? I'm going because I want to start sending out nicer proposals with the contracts and getting paid. So then you decide to invest in HoneyBook. And these different payment methods are going into different bank accounts. Now you can see how this looks very different from where we started. And actually, let's go back to see what it looked like when we started. Remember, we had just had the one way getting paid, so one bank account that we were using to receive that money and then pay for the few expenses we had. And now we've added on and we've got all of these new things going on. So there's a lot more going on. This is the point where people start feeling like, oh, it just feels all over the place. It feels disorganized. So when tax time comes around, it feels like such a big task. Like it just feels like so much you're doing because you're going to have to gather all the income. Like how much did I make? It all that information lives in different places. The data is not centralized. And then how much did I spend? Again, it lives in different places. It's not centralized. So it's a lot harder than when you just have the one account. It's just a much bigger ask to get all your information together to file taxes. And so there's like 12 months of stuff to go through. And then the next year you have to do it all over again. You know what? I need to make all these expenses red. So all the expenses are red now. And now let's make the money in green. So it's a little clearer. So like I said, there's just information that lives in different places. And there's not one place for you to go to check to get your taxes filed. Or even if you want to know, like, how much have I been making and how much can I expect to make? Do I have enough to pay for something? Where are you going to go check for that? But if you go into HoneyBook, it doesn't show you like the money that you've gotten from Zelle or cash, or like if some Stripe income is still coming in. It doesn't tell you that. So it's all scattered everywhere. And that's why like that feeling of disorganized and I need to get organized. But like, what does getting organized look like? You don't really know. You just know you don't feel organized. Now you realize, like, I do need some help, and your accountant's like, just get QuickBooks. So we've got QuickBooks. You've added that into this mix of scattered data, hoping it's going to help you feel more organized. The problem is, it usually makes you feel more disorganized and scattered because you don't know where to do with it. Like, where does it fit in? Let's connect your bank accounts. So you start syncing them to QuickBooks. So QuickBooks is pulling in all your expenses and what's coming in and out. And then maybe you start adding your receipts in QuickBooks, but you don't do all of them, and you're not really sure how to check which ones are missing, which ones aren't in there yet. You're just scattered. You added something in trying to make things easier, and it just makes it feel worse, honestly. And so when your tax time comes again, you just do the old way of like grabbing all these reports, sending it to your tax person, and letting them deal with it. Because what's in QuickBooks is messy. Your tax person doesn't really want to touch it either. This is when people come to me and they just describe themselves as, it feels scattered. I don't know. It's disorganized. I need to get organized. So this is where I come in. Bring this from all this scatteredness to feeling like organized, like you know what's going on, you know where things are. So I come in, I look at all of this. I'm seeing like what you have so far, what you have set up, where all of this information lives. And I'm saying information instead of just money because it's the money coming in and out, the money movement, but it's also the information tied to that money movement. And so I'm looking at all of this to see like where does it live and where can it live so that it's easy for you to find what you need when you need it, or for any other professional like the tax person to find what they need when they need it. I pause, we look at it, let's map out what's going on, what's been happening up until this point. And then once I do that, then we move into my next step, process. This is where I make QuickBooks the center of your accounting information. Like one place to check, so your tax pro can go there to get your reports, so you can go there to see your profit and loss statements. I get it all organized, and then it's gonna look different. So we've got your money out and in transactions that's being synced into QuickBooks so we can better track the money movement. The other thing is your income, money coming in. We also want to centralize that because that is a part of your accounting information. We've got your Zelle and Cash, the Stripes money is still coming in through there, and then Square, and then HoneyBook. If we want to make things easier, you can decide like we're going to use only HoneyBook. And even if you still want to accept some cash, you could say like I will take some cash, but we will not do Zelle. Don't even offer that as an option anymore. So now we've just got these two places for revenue to come in. So let's say we do connect HoneyBook because they have a pretty good integration. Not all CRMs do. Sometimes some of them do not directly connect to QuickBooks well, but there are other apps that do make that easier. So we got HoneyBook, syncing invoices to QuickBooks. So you can see this is so far a lot easier to look at than if we go back to our old one, this, where it's kind of all over the place and yeah, there's just a lot going on. This is feeling scattered, and this is feeling less scattered. Like, okay, I know what's going on here. I can see this is a little bit easier to follow. And then when it's time for tax season, your tax person needs your stuff, you can have those reports generated. You'll have your profit and loss already in QuickBooks because in QuickBooks you'll categorize all the money in and out. So you'll have your profit and loss. You'll have your balance sheets. So tax season gets easier. The tax person can just pull these nice little reports and be on their way, and it's easy. So then every year, tax season just gets easier. It's like, it's already organized. It's done. Like, you know where to go to look for your accounting information. And then, since you freed up that time and space because you feel organized, now you can answer those other questions you had. How much am I going to have left over if I pay to go to this workshop or this conference? Like, do we even have enough for that? And you want to, like, make a budget, plan ahead, and see like how much am I gonna have? Am I gonna be short some months or not? Then you can take all of this information in QuickBooks, like all of that nice data that in the past that happened and use that to predict ahead what's going to happen. Like, especially if you've got like more than a year's worth, then you've got like 2 or 3 years, then you have some patterns that you can use to see when am I busy, when am I slower. And you can use that to create a budget and use that to look ahead and see how is how do I expect the business to be doing? How much do I expect to be coming in? How much do I expect to be spending? And that will let you look ahead some more. And yeah, so you can see how much more organized this is compared to this nightmare, like this older version. And that frees up space in your head for other things to like work on your own business or to just feel more calm and organized. This is what I do. I turn this nightmare into this more organized system that makes tax season easier and makes it easier to look ahead and plan ahead in your business. That's it. Hopefully this visual is a better representation or gives you an idea of like what's happening in my head when business owners are telling me they feel scattered. And what I do, I come in and do a cleanup. I'm not just putting QuickBooks in order, but we're like creating the whole system and putting it in order so it's easier to manage and you stop feeling scattered, you feel more organized.